the home of the do-it-yourself trucker. When everything goes wrong, you gotta Redneckanize.
Well, hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome back. This is Redneckanize Radio, 516-387-1733. And be part of the conversation. Just hit one. You know, we're here live every Sunday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And for the next 2 hours, just call in. We're going to talk about latest news, life on the road, good stuff like that. And we want everybody to just get right along, have a lot of fun. So we were going to talk about some news articles that I had going on. And first, I want to thank one of our sponsors, and that's DPF Regeneration. DPF Regeneration has been with us from the get-go. We really appreciate all their support. You can give them a call at dpfregeneration.com. Or that's their website. And if you can give them a call at 800-634-3010. You know, they do all that different like exhaust filtration for the diesel engines, any size engine you got. They do the SCR units, the EGR coolers, the catalyst mufflers, all those DPF filters, all that good stuff. So you can give them a holler if you got any concerns about that and you need some work done. And they'll be able to help you out, get the right parts you need. And especially talk to, like, you know, any kind of maintenance shop that you're dealing with or anything, to make sure that, you know, you're getting the right parts and all that good stuff. So yeah, just check them out, dpfregeneration.com, and 800-634-3010. And when you talk to them, let them know you appreciate them supporting Redneckanize, because we really do appreciate them. So we're getting into things. And the one thing that I just wanted to mention just off the top here is I just wanted to talk about how great it is that I think there's been a lot of focus on retention or even driver pay. You know, here with the pandemic coming out and everybody's getting back to work, what we see is that the value of employees like truck drivers are starting to be noticed a little more. And there was an article from it was a journalist. They took some time off and they were just reflecting on things going on out there in the trucking industry. And they just took notice that, you know, there's a lot of going on with truckers making more money and being able to take more time off and seeing a lot of different opportunities. This was in freightwaves.com. And it says here, as I see it from a trucking activist, my trucking summer vacation by Jack Porter. And it was published on July 30th on Friday. And it says, as you may notice, I have taken a 6-week summer vacation from my editorials. Not really a summer vacation, but rather my June and July client and TCA meeting schedules took over. While a little grueling under the new travel challenges with less routes, higher ticket and room prices, no customer service whatsoever. It was great to get where I wanted to be. So seeing my friends and clients in person, many of these sessions were spent interacting with our driver population, which I always find very enlightening. So here are some of my takeaways from the current state of trucking from my summer vacation. And they go on to talk about several different things. It says drivers are getting paid more money, spending more time at home, achieving more balance in their work-life ratio. It says, I believe this is a great thing for our professional commercial vehicle operators. However, it does change the dynamics of trucking capacity. With more money and less availability to drive, the amount of freight hauling capacity has shrunk, even though the number of trucks has not. So another takeaway is, speaking of trucks and all that equipment, the word scarcely and higher prices, tractors have taken on a whole new life of their own. While many fleets are having a tough time recruiting and retaining drivers, any empty trucks are being sold into the used truck market, and that is very hot. This phenomenon is adding to the reduced amount of freight hauling capacity. However, it seems that some of those used trucks and trailers are finding their way into the spot market. And that's, you know, whenever a fleet has to downsize, especially during this last year in 2020, because freight was dropping because everything was shut down. See, a lot of these bigger carriers, they're operating on the assumption that things are going great for them with their particular customers. Well, when those customers shut down, then those trucks are getting just sitting around, so they'll get rid of them or they won't buy new ones. And when they need to get rid of them, they go into like the spot market. So drivers take the opportunity to buy those and they get them into the spot market where they can just, you know, those are the ones that do the expedited or just, you know, extra freight comes in and they can haul it, and pretty much you can set your prices if you're good at it. And I always thought that was a good spot to be in when things got tough like they did here. You know, you saw what happened when everything first shut down. Everything dropped, everything plummeted. The rates just fell off because there were so many trucks. So the drivers that could hold on and not take that cheap freight and really just kind of, you know, hold down the fort, or had good customers to where they knew who to call. Well, if you're in the spot market, that's what it is. You don't have particular customers that you can count on, depending on the situation. You might not. So a lot of drivers in the spot market, they fell out. Well, then when everything picks back up, they got to get back in the spot market. Well, if they went broke, they don't have the money to get back in the spot market. So it opened up opportunities for other people to get in the spot market. It says here, with the increase in rates, many of these smaller carriers can work 20-25% less and still meet the revenue goals. And the biggest takeaway is the workforce challenges. We need people at all levels of the food chain, labor shortages, and increased wage and acquisition cost. The shortage is killing the supply chain at all levels, thus adding to the start of a new inflation cycle. I mean, prices are gonna go up because, we all think, because we're the guys here down on the bottom here. There's a lot of people out there that are truck drivers that they don't own a truck. They're not owner operators. They're company drivers, and they're making money because they don't have to worry about making. Well, I'm saying they're making money off the government, because if they live in a state that still has the unemployment benefits paying out, and then they get the extra topped off with the federal government adding on to it. There's a lot of people out there, and you can disagree with me if you want, but there's a lot of people I've dealt with them. I've seen them. Even if it's just $300-$400 a week, they're fine with it. They're okay with that. I knew truck drivers that they would work just hard enough to pay back their advance that they did for the week, and that's it. And you could try to tell them, either work more or leave, and they'll leave. They don't care. They'll go to another company and do the same thing. And, a lot of these big companies, they don't like firing drivers for stuff like that, because as long as that driver's running, 6,500, 8,500 miles a month, that truck's making money. And a big multi-million-dollar company like Swift, Schneider, JB, all those, if he's over the road and he don't really have a particular dedicated route or anything like that, and he's just out there hauling whatever they got for him, that's what it boils down to. When you're hungry and you're forced to sit and they tell you need to sit, well, the problem is that they're expecting you to act like those drivers that'll just sit, and they don't care. But when you're hungry, you want to work, and the sitting ain't an option, then you're looking for other places. And that's what that's what I've learned over the years of dealing with big companies, is that if you're hungry and you want to work, you're eventually going to go somewhere else where there's more work and less sitting around, because there's not enough. Because you're going to go work for a company where there's trucks not being underutilized. Those big companies, sometimes they just got trucks sitting because they got so many trucks, and they want to keep them moving. But again, they're going to move them on their terms. So this article ends up by saying, it says, what did I find out on my summer vacation? The industry is completely oversold and will remain that way for a long time. The drivers are earning more money and working less. That is good for them. The first signs of inflation are upon us. The industry needs higher rates to cover higher costs already discovered in the spot market. Remember, trucking is always the lead industry for the rest of the economy. And that's always been the case. Whenever you start seeing freight sliding off, then, the downside of the economy starts following. And then when you start seeing freight start picking up, then you look, and like a month later, the stock market start rising. And it's just one of those things. You keep an eye on the trucking real close, and you can always almost predict how the economy is going to roll, because you start seeing, freight increase, decrease based on whatever is going on out there. Right now, freight's booming because everything's trying to open back up, and freight's still it's gonna boom. But the problem is that the prices aren't going to go up. These bigger carriers, I know drivers that do expedited and different things in the spot market, flatbed and all that. But these huge carriers, what they do is they've got to book the freight. If the freight's going to slack off because inflation's everywhere, and we start seeing it now where people are just kind of cutting back and not doing as much because of the inflation, then the companies are going to start booking whatever freight they can. They're just going to book it, whether they can cover it or not. They're just going to book it, and then they'll go out and they'll sell it themselves. Well, then those guys are going to hang on to that freight, and they're going to keep those rates low. That's just what's going to happen. And all you can do is, as an owner operator, if you're an owner operator and you're independent like that, one main thing you need to do is you need to focus on taking care of your finances to where you can ride out whatever kind of dip happens within the next year or two. And anybody out there, any owner operator's got their own authority will tell you, you got to be able to ride it out. If something happens, if you can't afford to ride it out, then you're going to have to, park the truck and go do something else until something comes back, because the rates could drop, or keep dropping, or put you in a scenario where you're going to be somewhere and, you got to just know it. You got to know that you might be able to make $5 a mile on one load, but you ain't going to make but $1.50 on the next one coming out, because that's how it works. So, if you don't know that, then you're going to lose out, because you're going to underbid one load, and you're not going to be able to make it up on the next one. So in the stock market, as an owner operator, especially independent, you got to watch out for this inflation stuff, because it causes the prices of everything to go up. Fuel price will go up, but the rates, they won't follow that much, because of the huge carriers, low bidding the freight, trying to get it done. And that's just my take on it, how that goes. And that's just based off of what I've seen over the years. But, maybe this time's different. We don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. But until then, we'll just be rocking and rolling here. We're going to try to be at the new Mid-America Trucking Show coming up next March. And, it's just August now. So we got some ways to go. But that's going to be where you're going to be able to find us all. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Looking forward to it. But I'm excited, and I hope everybody else is like me. And we're going to keep rocking and rolling here and keep it on going down the line. So make sure you give us a holler, 516-387-1733. Be a part of the conversation. Don't forget to check out our website, redneckanize.com. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we appreciate you liking, sharing, and all that good stuff for that. And just hang tight. We'll be right back here in just a second. Redneckanize Radio.
How you gonna win if you ain't trying? Well, now we're all back together, and we're burning up the road. And that old sheriff's out there dogging us again. He thinks he's really got it cooking, plans to do a lot of booking. The only trouble, he keeps looking where we've already been. So if I can keep it on the ground,